So it's a conversation that most people don't want to have. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that if the stock market crashes, what should you do? A lot of times, if that happens, you should step in, you should buy if you're buying the right stocks. And there are three stocks that I want to share with you. One of them is not as high as the others, but I'm going to share with you three stocks that I think are worth looking at. And I'm also going to give you a couple of extra stocks that I think you should look at getting into. So those would be bonus stocks that'll be towards the end of the video. So three stocks that you should be looking at loading up on if the stock market crashes, and then give you some extras towards the end as we wrap this video up. Okay. So if the market crashes, three stocks to buy before the dust settles. Okay. So look, we all know that there's volatility in the market, and we are always looking at how we should manage and mitigate risk. Okay. Now, I think one of the way you manage and mitigate risk is you have a very good diversified portfolio and things like that. But you can always kind of look at different stocks that you should be into that are essentially good bets if kind of the worst happens. One of them is hands down TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturer. The reason is that they are really the chip manufacturer to pretty much every major brand of chips out there. NVIDIA, Broadcom, Qualcomm, things like this, right? But because they're really the ones that make the silicon. They're the ones that make it. And so they are really behind the scenes, right? And it's one of those things where it's a very labor intensive process to actually make these chips, like the NVIDIA chips or the AMD chips, the Broadcom chips, et cetera. And when a deal is locked in where like and NVIDIA comes to Taiwan Semiconductor, says, hey, I need you to make this brand new GPU for me. That is a extremely large investment on both sides of that table that's being made. And it is a relationship that's kind of really being forged for a long time. And it's really hard for that company like NVIDIA to move away from a TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, to go to somebody else, right? And so there's that. But Taiwan Semiconductor benefits from being the chip manufacturer to almost every major AI chip out there that you can think of. And that's what I really, really think is one of the ones that I think it's just bulletproof, right? And if we did see a stock market pullback, I think it would be a great opportunity to buy that one, maybe at a little bit of a dip. Okay. So as long as demand for AI processing chips remains insatiable, which it will, I did a video earlier today that talked about the fact that the spending for the AI data center build out is expected to reach over $7 trillion per year by 2030. To put that in perspective, I think the latest number I saw was it was actually below a trillion right now. It's like $700 billion. And that's not a number that that's just a small number, but it's relative to where it's going to go. Okay. So, and as that build out continues, all the major companies are going to benefit from that. Obviously, the NVIDIAs of the world, are going to benefit. But TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, is going to be the company making those chips. Okay. So that's why its ticker has made surprisingly consistent bullish progress since 2022. Launch of OpenAI's ChatGPT started an AI hardware race. Okay. And you're looking at kind of the 1 year right here. Started about a year ago, 172, currently priced at 397. Yes, I know it's at a premium, but remember, we're talking about if the stock market were to crash, these are ones that I would step in and buy more. I've already owned some Taiwan Semiconductor. This is the one that I think is interesting, and I'm not really sure if this would be a big bet for me, if this is one that I would really look at. Thought this was a very interesting choice here. Roku. So might be one of the market's best kept secrets, as well as one of its most misunderstood names. Fate and fortune are tethered to the streaming business. The company also operates its own streaming channel. By and large, its role means it wins regardless of which streaming services are falling in or out of favor. And the last quarter results to see it. Roku's Q1 revenue is up 22% year over year and driving 27+% improvement in gross profit. Very profitable. Okay. People are now engaged with their streaming tech almost like they are with their mobile phones. I don't personally use the Roku device. We are an Apple family, so we use Apple TV, things of that nature. So that was why this one was kind of surprising to me, and not necessarily as big of a hold scenario here as some others. Okay. Now this one here, ARM Holdings, I actually really like this one. And I think that this one could be one that you may want to look at. Okay. It's definitely a good one to buy if we see a market-wide sell-off dials back some of its recent 70+% run. If you look at the 1 year here, it was about a year ago, it was trading at $124, and now it's trading right there. If I can get that to about 210, so about 80, 75, $80 per share. Okay. It's already peeled back some off of its April 24th peak, still priced at more than 100 times this year's projected profit. So it's definitely priced at a multiple, pretty high multiple there, right? But the caveat here and the basis for the video was 3 stocks to buy if the market crashes, and we got a pullback in this one. Okay, so this is one that's interesting to me. So you may know it as another chip maker, ARM Holdings. It's distinctly different from Intel or NVIDIA in that until very recently, it only designed chip architecture and then licenses power efficient intellectual property out to chip designers like Apple, NVIDIA, and Qualcomm. Again, this is kind of like another variation on Taiwan Semiconductor. So it's licensing out its chip architecture, which is something I like about that. So it supplies multiple of the big names out there that are the brand names. Okay, ARM recently has made a number of major agreements, including Meta Platforms and OpenAI. Aren't showing up to the top line yet. So ARM, is a good one if we do see maybe a pullback in the price. Okay, and they have ongoing agreements with Amazon and, of course, Alphabet's Google. Okay, business boom is brewing. This one could be the one that's taking off. Even if we don't see a stock market crash, you might want to think about adding ARM Holdings to your list here. Okay, so to wrap up, I told you that I would give you a few others. One that I talk about a lot on my channel is Corning. I think that you ought to look at Corning. The ticker is GLW. GLW is Corning, a 175-year-old company. You may know them as the company that makes the glass for your Apple iPhone, or the Corningware, the actual glass bowls is kind of what I remember them from. But no, they're known for more than that. They are definitely one that you want to look at because they are moving very, very quickly into and are very, very profitable. In fact, they're looking at $20 to $40+ billion for this revenue stream for fiber optic glass that has a very glass component in it. That's the cabling that goes into data centers. Okay, so that's an interesting one there. And their technology is better than the existing technology that's in a lot of the AI data centers now, which is copper-based, basically copper-based, the wiring, if you will, right? And so this is something that's way better than that. And you're going to see a lot more companies that are looking to implement Corning's technology. Okay, so there you go. There's a free one there for you. Promised you 3, gave you another extra one. As always, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes. And if you would hit that like and that subscribe on your way out. See you.